Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts Larry and Stevie. And well, Stevie, I'll just let you take it away, man. You know what I mean? Just give me a quick summary of what's just happened,
mate. You know, we won't go into the pleasantries of how you're doing, etc. We both know we're kind of not the happiest chappies at the moment, but you know, with 2 hours sort of post result, I turned it off when it was a couple of minutes to go. I didn't want to see any sort of faces that resembled defeat and deflation and negativity. But like you say, we got beat by a better team, and yeah, as much as I'm well fucking depressed, I'm not that bad. Like I said to your previous pod, if we get beat, I'd rather it's the Carabao Cup. It's the least, but as we will dive into it, we'll discuss psychology, etc., which obviously what we probably will be the main theme of it and the worry going forward. But no, overall, yeah, mate, it's an opportunity to win the first trophy of the season, and we failed miserably at that. That's my overall initial sort of opinion, is we failed miserably. And yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, look, I can't argue with any of that, but I think, is it safe to say that it was a schooling in football and a schooling in how to actually approach a final, right? I think it's safe to say, isn't it?
Yeah. And definitely them words.
And I think that's probably the most disappointing part of everything. I mean, yes, of course, it would have been great to have it. Are we that, mad that we didn't win the cup? The Carabao Cup. Not that mad. Obviously, it would have been nice to do it, but what hurt more than anything is just the way that we entered the final, and literally that second half was, I think, pathetic is the word that's been bandied around, and I think I'm going to jump on that bandwagon because it was absolutely pathetic, and that hurts more than the actual result. Do you know what I mean? Yes, obviously, like I said, it would have been great to have a first trophy in the bag after 6 years and whatnot, but to go into a final like that against a team like City, which potentially we could even face them in the FA Cup final, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if that's the case again, then what's going to happen to these players psychologically? I thought we've already been there, done that with that type of stuff, but apparently it's still lingering. It's part of the club's DNA, to be honest. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's probably what Arteta's bringing. That's what's sort of running through his veins, a bit of Man City. And again, this is just sort of like hypothetical, if you will, but it seems that schooled. I'm just going to stick with that phrase. Absolutely schooled tonight. But yeah, it was just to see that second half and the way that the players didn't turn up. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, that speaks volume, and he can't be like, oh well, it's not like he focused too much on that cup. I mean, he did. He put literally the first team, the best team that he had available to him. He put them out, barring the keeper. But that's a conversation that we've already had. I'd already said that, we questioned him, what's he going to do in the final? And he went with Kepa, which, again, totally understandable. It wasn't left field. It wasn't a tactical change or anything like that. No, he stuck with the keeper that took him to the final, and I can't blame him for that. Unfortunately, the keeper that took us to the final, in a final, he tends to screw up a little bit, and this is not his first time. He had many opportunities in this match where he could have, we could have conceded. But yeah, without diving too, look, Stevie, I don't want to dive too deep into this match because it's conversations that we've had plenty across the whole season. I just want to vent, really, and I think we've made a good start to that. So, but look, okay, we'll do it a bit traditionally, I guess. What do you think of the lineup when it was first announced? What did you have?
I thought it was piss.
Wow. Okay. I mean, there had some players that you wanted in there, right? Like Nkapia played.
Look. Yeah. I'm torn just purely down to the fact is that I didn't see this as an important game. The only importance that I saw of it was the momentum, but the fact that we've got an international break and the fact we've got then the FA Cup before our next league game, it doesn't mean that much to me. As much as I am pissed off, I'm not ultimately pissed off, and I did mention this to you on the last pod, and I'm torn really because part of me thinks, fuck, it would have been nice to win, but we just didn't have the mentality. And the lineup to me sort of said it in a way. I mean, Trossard was, we'll go through all the players if you want, eventually, of what we thought of how they played and performed, etc. But the lineup initially was quite scary, really. Obviously, Benny Blanco at right back. Again, his head's not right. He was pretty poor, to be fair. And Trossard, Zubimendi.
With Zubimendi, obviously, look, I don't think there's much that he can do there. He has to play the best players, and look, he did. He played the best players, apart from maybe Trossard. Could have not played. Martinelli could have started. I think it would have caused a bit more trouble to the young right back, which is O'Reilly, wasn't it? He scored the 2 goals.
O'Reilly left back, wasn't he?
Was he left back? Who was right back?
Yeah, O'Reilly's left back, and it's the guy from Wolves was right back.
Oh yeah, Matthias Nunes. Yes, that's right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, I think it would probably Martinelli would have been a little bit better, a bit trickier, but yeah, it's a problem. It really is.
Trossard was very poor. I thought the game passed him by. Didn't get involved at all. I know he had a bit of a free roll, but I just thought it passed him by the game, as did many others have. It's White, Saka, Kepa, but the starting lineup, it is what it is. I understand the fact that he kept with Kepa. We did say that he would keep with him, as he did as. Man City kept with their keeper throughout the tournament. So there's no surprises really. The only surprise was that he played Trossard. I can see the fact that he played Saka as well, because obviously Saka's got the experience and he's been used to the big games of late with England, such as opposed to Madueke. But our first half performance was better than the second, not by much, but obviously it was better, and that's why I thought he got it wrong again. Arteta just seemed to get his lineup wrong, especially against the team which is Man City, which we've struggled in the past. But yeah, starting lineup other than the Kepa, I think that's normally what Arteta does, isn't he? He's his sort of trusted 11 outfield players. But
yeah,
there's nothing else that he could have done, really, is there?
No, there isn't. And yeah, we were missing some big names. Obviously, Eze wasn't even involved in that. He was injured, wasn't he? Is he officially injured, or was it just a precaution not to bring him on?
I think he's going to miss the England game, which I'm glad. I don't want him to get injured. I don't want him to get any more injuries. I'm glad he is going to be dropped from that upcoming England game. So I'm happy about that. Whether it's a precaution, I just hope it's not a long-term thing, mate.
Yeah, I hope not either, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he was desperately missed in this match, and I think not only did he get the lineup wrong but because of the lineup being wrong, the formation was wrong, tactically was wrong as well. And yeah, first half we can argue that we were better than the second half, but then you see the second half. I mean, does that even matter? Like what we did? Are we still talking about but we were better in the first half? All right, great, but the match is over 2 halves and there's 90 minutes to be played. So I don't think you look at the first half and then be like, oh yeah, that was great, but then we only fell apart in the second half. But no, we should have done what we needed to do. We had chances, there was a couple of chances, especially early on for Havertz as well. Yeah. But obviously, fucking Trafford makes a triple save, and you think, Jesus Christ, man, this is just not our night, is it? At all. I think after that sort of missed opportunity, which was again triple save, and we didn't even looked threatening. I think that sort of cemented the rest of the match, to be honest. We were kind of chasing our tail after that. That's the way it felt like. And obviously there was a few things that sort of didn't go our way, like the Nkapia yellow card. Obviously that affected the rest of his match. He did not have a good game, by the way. Like, no. There is no one who can convince me they had a good game against City.
I got a text. Sorry to interrupt there, Larry. I got a text from my mate asking who our left back was. So I told him, and he was like, "He's having a mate." And as much as obviously I want to support Nkapia, and he didn't have his greatest of games, but he's up against probably one of the best. Well, he got Player of the Month for February, didn't he, Semenyo? So he's not like no mug. He's not like a normal average, right winger as such. He's a fucking amazing player, right? And Nkapia got yellow carded, and he didn't actually touch whoever it was. He didn't touch the player that was allegedly fouled.
That was not a yellow card, by the way. I think it was. No, it wasn't. Turkey. I think it was. Was it maybe Turkey? I can't remember. Because Turkey was involved in quite a bit of that stuff. So that was never a yellow card. Sorry,
never a yellow card, was it? And I just think it did hamper his game, and because he was thinking, I can't go do my swashbuckling. Sort of performance that he normally does, where he's in his 100 mile an hour intensity, because he was scared of getting a red card. So I'm conscious that yes, he didn't have his greatest of games, but against Semenyo, not many people do.
That's a fair point. I mean, look, when you look at it that way, yeah, absolutely, you can make a case for Nkapia, but I feel like as the overall performance, yes, there was a couple of instances against Semenyo where he just went by him, really. There's no other way to describe it, just went by him. And but yeah, I think as an overall performance, it felt like he was a bit shaky. There was a couple of instances in the box as well, like when they had either the first or second corner in the first half. He was just sort of like, he had Gabriel telling him where to be, and Rice was in there as well, trying to like sort of direct him. And yeah, it was a big match, massive. You know what I mean?
He had a chance, didn't he? He had a header. It was him and Gyökeres had a chance at 0-0 in the first half, and he actually put it over. And I thought, maybe anyone else that was in that position would have scored.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like kill a defender because he didn't get ahead at one time. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of his defensive work, he was not up to scratch today. And maybe again going back to the wrong choice or to the wrong lineup. If Calafiori had played, I know you're not his biggest fan, as we've already established that, but I think he probably would have been a bit better.
He did better when I must admit, Calafiori did play well when he came on. I have to admit that, but
he had a chance as well, didn't he? Like in the second half, he had a sort of run through as well. But that was it. Yeah. So which is great, but like again, then you look at the score, then none of that matters. But we're just sort of nitpicking at this point. But yeah, interesting. Like the Nkapia yellow card, and then you look at Bernardo Silva, who was just climbing on all of our players, and you think, I mean,
this is what I mean. Bias was completely obvious, wasn't it?
It was terrible. At 30 minutes, I made a note here saying the ref was shit so far as I sent you it. It just didn't get better from there on. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't really get any better. But in the first half, like I said, there's a Havertz chance. There's the Saka rebound, which, look, I know this is going to sound like I'm picking on Saka, right? But come on, mate. You are on 350 grand a fucking week to fucking be in that fucking position. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to beep these out, right, because there's too many fuckings. But I am so pissed off with that opportunity that he missed. It was, oh my God. Okay. And the thing is, if it was just one time this season, you think, Saka, he could have done better. That's fine. Let's move on. It's all season. Right, all season. I'm sick of hearing justifications about Saka and how his performances and injuries and the players just come back from a major injury. How long are we going to play that fucking tune then? Do you know what I'm saying? It's coming up to the end of the season. We need him to play. We can't keep bailing him out. And again, because you don't have an Odegaard in that number 10 role, you put Saka in that role as he has done before. You don't put Havertz in a match with that much, like that high caliber match. against City, you just don't do it. You put him on second half, he can give you something different, and we saw it. Apart from that 6th-minute freaking chance, there was nothing else that Havertz did. He was absolutely piss poor. And I've even, again, there's notes here that I've just said, he was terrible. I didn't like what Havertz did today, and I'm one of his biggest advocates. So, yeah, it was, honestly, Stevie, just everything that we did, and I really, really hope, right, this is the line in the sand for the rest of the season now, for what's remaining of the season, because if this seeps in psychologically, we are absolutely done for. And then, by the way, we can be classed as bottlers, because we've had 4 opportunities to win a trophy, and if we don't do any of that because of a match like this, we're bottlers, mate, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe it's a bit too harsh. I don't know. But that's where I'm at the moment with this team.
Yeah, it's one of those 50-50s, isn't it? And we will never know until the final part of the season sort of comes to an end, probably in the next 2 or 3 games, to be fair. And the only saving grace is for me is that the lads can kind of feel sorry for themselves. They've got weeks to get. They're going with England next weekend, and they don't play another game until Southampton. So that's the only thing that's going to be in their favour. Because sometimes, I know people say, it's best to get a game straight away to get out of the system, but sometimes I think with the fragility of obviously the past seasons and things like that, that might have been the worst thing for us, to have a game straight away. Because imagine then if we hadn't have won, imagine if it was a league game next week against Bournemouth, or which what it is, and obviously City go to Chelsea. They're going to be the buoyant team, aren't they, effectively? They're going to be the ones on a high. We're the ones not. So they're going to go away. They're going to go to the international. So it's like with City, they're going to go to their teammates. And the Carabao Cup's going to be forgotten about by the time we then reconvene in the Premiership. That's my hope. Whether it is or not, only time will tell.
Time will tell, my friend.
The beauty about it is it's the international, then it's the FA Cup, and then it's the league. So we've got the FA Cup to get it right, I think. I think once we play Southampton, we'll know what the player's mindset is. If we get it right against Southampton, I think we'll be okay. That's the crucial game for me, the Southampton away.
I was watching the match with my wife, and at the end of it, she was like, "You don't really seem that upset." I was like, "Well, it's not about this match now. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's all about the next match, which is Southampton." And absolutely word for word what you've just said there. That's literally the conversation that I had with her. I said, "Look, it all depends on how we bounce back. If we face Southampton and we beat them 3-4-0, whatever it is, like high scoring match, then fantastic. I'll put a line under this City match, because if it's the only trophy that they win and we could potentially go in to win a treble, then who gives a shit about this match, right? But obviously in the heat at the moment, which is like 4 hours removed from the match, we're going to be a bit heated up, and you can tell by my face, by the way, I look red. I'm not
scowling.
I'm not actually that angry. So I don't know what's going on.
We're laughing.
I don't know.
But we've said it.
It's Stevie. Look, because we've discussed all the negative points that we saw in this match. We've discussed them in many other podcasts. Right. This is why it's either we repeat ourselves or we just sort of like find other amusing facts or amusing little features that we saw in the match and bring those up, because I'm tired, man. I'm tired of talking about that stuff all the time, especially the psychology of the team, the fragility, a perfect word that you use there as well, like fragile psychology. Boom, name of the episode. So yeah, look, going back to the first half real quick, I just want a couple of bits that I saw, and in the interest of fairness, I said about Saka not getting the rebound. Havertz 100,000,000% should have never taken 3 steps extra and should have shot it. Ian Wright in the halftime. I was saying the halftime. He said the same thing, didn't he? And it's even us as non-professional football players, right? You could see. That's too many steps, right? Because we know the league, we know the speed of the league, we know the speed of the players. Even the sort of the lesser teams, if you will, like out of the top 10, they still have players who will react very quickly in relative to the league. And what we saw with Havertz there was like, dude, that was, obviously you play basketball, right? You do the double step and then it's traveling. that's what Havertz actually did. Basically, in basketball, if you hold the ball, you take 3 steps. That's traveling if you don't bounce it. So Havertz pretty much did the same thing in football terms. Sort of
right.
He had the ball there, took 3 steps, and then took a shot. It's like, dude, come on, mate. You're facing Man City. I
think that proves to me that he's not a striker, isn't it? Really, strikers don't take that many steps. Gyökeres probably would have got a better shot away. But look. Sorry, Stevie. I mean, Havertz did that, but then at the other end, there was Haaland. He had that. He had a chance. I think it was second half where he sort of like looked like he was going to toe poke it. Yes,
and he still managed to toe poke it. Maybe not enough power. Defender going the way. But again, the instincts of a striker and. Exactly what you just said, that Havertz just proved, especially where he is right now after coming back from the injury. He's not that guy. He's not that sharp right now. So
no. He's a nice, tidy midfielder, and on his day he can score a nice occasional goal as an attacking number 10 kind of, but he's not an out-and-out Gyökeres, Shearer, Haaland, Aguero, whatever. He's not that man, is he? And proven today he's either still not match fit or his head's not right. He just looked his pitiful Havertz usual self. I know you got a lot of time for him, and I understand that, because some days he does. You think, oh God, he's got a great touch. He's strong, and he gets involved and things like that, and he links up play really well. But I just think today, for me, it's proof that he isn't ready, and he's not the man, like you say, to lead our charge on all fronts. Really, we're sorely missing. And I mean, I've made some notes as well. I mean, I know I'll probably come back to it, but I think the difference today, if you want, I mean, I'm wrapping it up now, but the difference today, the attackers for Man City far superior than our attackers. They were absolutely.
I agree.
First half, they weren't great. We did manage them quite well, but I think they were just feeling us out. But the second half, they just came in their own. It was like, fucking hell, like that just proves where we are lacking, and that's the difference between winners and losers. And I think Gary Neville alluded to it at one point, and it was 1-0, I think, to City, and he said, Man City are taking risks, and that's so right, and that's so evident. That's what I think sets winners and losers apart. And Arteta's not a risk taker, and that's why we're not winners. Will we ever win? We might win the Premiership. There's a decent chance that we might, but it's still that back of our mind, the little nagging doubt that he's not going for it. Now, if we go for it these next 2-3 games in the Premiership, because we'll probably get beat if we go to City and play like that. And it'll be down to 3 points or whatever, and then it is all about mentality, and then it's all about what have you got. And Arteta's, he's risk averse, and this is the ultimate sort of expression of why we are probably either going to end up empty-handed at the end of the season, because he's risk averse. And Gary Neville summed it up, and he said, City are taking risks. We weren't, and they were 1-0 up. They were taking risks. If it had been the other way around, we'd have been sitting back and holding on to a 1-0 league and inviting pressure.
The jubilancy of Gary Neville when Man City were winning, I just can't take that guy seriously, man. He's literally rooting for the team that is his direct rival in terms of location and proximity. Obviously, I understand that him and Arsenal have had the differences over the years, so they are the actual rivals. But yeah, I just don't really care much for Gary Neville, as you know. But yeah, in the moments where we agree with him, I've realised that it's just not a good thing, right? If we agree with Gary Neville, it means something terrible is happening on screen, right, and on the pitch. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. That's the way it was in this match. And I couldn't even be mad at him. It's just like at that point when they were 1-0 up, I was like, well, he's not wrong. As much as I don't want to agree with him, he's not wrong. Wasn't he? Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the only problem I have with that is that he waits for those moments. Like, he's got those moments written out, and as soon as Arsenal go like 2-0 down, he's like, let me get my flip chart out. Do you know what I mean? Starts doing all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, where I don't even want to. Yeah, let me just finish on the first half. A couple of more things there. There was a tackle on Doku from Saliba. I don't know if you saw that. It was just like a funny thing where he's like, Doku sat on the floor and Saliba just pushes him.
Yes.
I found that hilarious, to be honest. But if it was a different ref, or if the ref had been like, in a proper mood sort of thing, that could have been a yellow card. Do you know what I mean? That's physical touching and physical violence.
Chris Kavanagh would have given it, wouldn't he?
100%. Oh, he would have sent 3 players off. And one of the things that was sort of at the sort of like, was at the forefront of this match was Gyökeres and the fact that he didn't really play centrally. Most of the times I saw Gyökeres was coming in from the right, making a pass, or coming in from the left and making a cross. It was very bizarre the way that he was playing. I liked what he was doing because, again, it felt like he was creating the space, but he was creating the space for Havertz and Saka, and we saw what they did early on. They didn't do shit. So I felt like that was the different tactic that Arteta had up his sleeve facing City today. But I just don't think it worked. I don't know how did you see Gyökeres in this match?
I felt sorry for him personally. He was running the channels, and now the balls that he was receiving, particularly from Trossard and Saka, were basically in no man's land. I mean, Kusanov's no slouch. He's very, very quick defender, and Gyökeres, even 2 or 3 yards behind, is not going to make up them kind of distances. You know, I think in the first half he was level with Kusanov, and he actually got to the bar line and sort of he did manage to get a cross in, which obviously Saka was useless, or Havertz, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Havertz, wasn't he? He ended up fouling Kusanov, didn't he? When he didn't have to. But no, I thought that he was played in, but there was no balls to feet or anything like that. He had no chance. He had really, really poor service. And, he did get fouled quite a lot, and I thought there was a couple of probably yellow cards there, but the ref didn't give yet when it was on the other foot. He's willy-nilly with his yellow cards for the Arsenal players. But what can I say? I mean, Gyökeres gets the ball over the top. Their defenders seem to head it clear, and it's gone to safety. When they do a long ball to Haaland, I don't know if you watched this at the time and what your thoughts were on it. He seems to back the defenders up, and the ball seems to either come to his feet or his knee. Whereas with Gyökeres, he doesn't. I don't know if he understands that you've got to push the defender back so the ball comes to you, because he's never winning any header in the air.
No,
and our defenders don't win anything against Haaland, because Haaland knows where the ball's coming. He makes sure that ball goes to his feet. And that seemed to be the difference. And we were always seemed to be grappling with Haaland. And he seemed to be like, I know we won quite a lot of them. Saliba and Gabriel probably were the best 2 players for us, personally.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%, yeah.
But Gyökeres didn't really have that support, if you know what I mean. I don't think he understood how to hold the ball up, and that's over the top.
And that's why I say I feel like tactically that was the wrong decision from Arteta, because again, it was something different, and maybe other teams or Man City may have not expected it. But again, if it's not actually executed correctly, then it doesn't matter what your idea was. What I've written here in terms of Gyökeres, I put he can't run, really, like in terms of pickup speed against speedy fullbacks, and the few runs that he did behind, they ended up being wasted. So for me, I felt like he was wasted tactically, where he could have just as easily been the focal point like he normally is. And then obviously that could have, but because he played Havertz, he had to sort of shoehorn both of these players in. And you're thinking, why are you trying to shoehorn these players in? You'd either leave one on the bench and then start the other, and you know what I mean? And just do it that way. And yeah, and that just adds to the tactical bullshit and just the nature of how Arteta picks his teams, which is very poor, by the way. I mean, yes, on paper they could be your best 11, but if they don't work well together, then there's absolutely no point bringing them in. And it showed. It really showed today. And last thing I want to bring up in the first half is Kusanov, the yellow card that he got. That was quite a nasty challenge on Gyökeres. I don't know if you remember that. That was a bit of a terrible challenge, that. And again, referee, dude, I know you give a yellow, but come on, you need to have another look at that, because that was nasty. But either way, at least they got a yellow card. The wrong player, because it should have been Bernardo Silva in the many tackles that he put in, but apparently that little rat doesn't actually get bucked against us. And then we're forced to kick him in the face or something, and then we get red carded. So but and by the end of the first half, there were some panic clearances which didn't really sit well with me at all. And you think, did we just forget how to play professional football? And just because it's a final? And from what we discussed last episode, this was one of the main points that we discussed, wasn't it? How are we going to go into a final? How are we going to react? How are we going to perform? And on all those fronts, by the way, F's F's, U's. If I can give him a U, I'll give him a U, because that was just, it was awful. First half ends, second half starts, no changes made. I want to know your thoughts on that, because I feel on the second half and no changes made.
It's usual, isn't it? Arteta always does this. He always doesn't change it in the first half. He's like clueless, really. It's like, I know I'm going to stick with it. It's like it's his way that he's learned, I think, probably from his playing days, that you don't change it straight away. And that's what separates winners from losers, because winners would think, right, it's not working, I'm going to change it the first half. But he's too loyal, if you know what I mean. He doesn't want to sort of upset people. Yeah, he changed Nkapie. Didn't Nkapie come straight off, or did he not change anyone? I can't remember.
No, there was no changes straight away. I think Nkapie came off in the 60th minute. Let me just have a look, because I've just got the timings. So Calafiori comes in for Nkapie, 65th minute. Madueke,
right.
Madueke a minute later. But yeah, it's just fucking.
Again, I think the substitutions, to me, it was just a smacked of desperation. Let's put Madueke and Calafiori on. Let's put Martinelli and Jesus on, and it was just, they're our attacking players, so let's just put them on. Not like thought of like, I'll put a midfielder on and I'll switch a couple of positions and then I'll play a two up front. It was just mindless, and this is a difference. And I've said it since day one, that Arteta has zero experience as a manager. And all this is he's using Arsenal, and Arsenal are kind of experimenting with someone without any experience, with a multi-billion-pound industry, which Arsenal are, and it's affecting. Look, I'm not going to go down that route, because that's for another pod, about what we think of Arteta. We're talking about today's performance, and we're talking about his substitutions, but it all links for me. Everything that links because of his inexperience, and the substitutions were just like, let's just toss a coin. Let's just stick him on. No thought whatsoever. Everyone could see that they were totally dominant in possession. Midfield was completely useless. Rice was trying to do everything. He was trying to do defence and attack. He was trying to knit everything together, but there was no one helping him. You saw him at times actually shaking his head because no one was holding the ball. I think it was when he passed to Havertz, and Havertz just kind of lost it. It was fucking shit. Really, really poor from everyone, barring the odd one or two players. So I'm not surprised, really. Like I say, I knew City would play like that, and I knew that Arteta would put that team out, and we would play that defensively, because that's all Arteta knows. He doesn't know how to change it up, and doesn't know how to play different tactics. He knows how to change a team, but doesn't know how to play the right team.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was watching obviously the end of the first half, and the first thing that I was thinking out like in my brain was, okay, you need to move Saka to the midfield, take Havertz off, leave Gyökeres on, right? And I think that should have happened from the beginning of the second half. I don't think they should have waited 10, 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it was. So for me, that was already wrong. As soon as the second half started, no changes made, I thought, right, you're not doing this properly now, right? You're just sort of taking a chance with the players, or you're giving your mates a chance. I don't know what it was, because again, if it was me, not even in hindsight, like whilst watching it live, thinking, right, I know what I need to change, I know what I need to make here, right? You tried Havertz on in the first half as an experiment, didn't work for you, clearly. Take him off. What are you expecting from Havertz in the second half, by the way, that he didn't already show you in the first half? What was he going to do? Just all of a sudden take a fucking drink of magic juice or some shit? So, and it proved that nothing had changed. If anything, it was actually made worse in the second half because of our performance. And that's 100% down to the fact that he didn't make any changes, because we had to like compensate for players. If Gyökeres is not running down the centre and Havertz is nowhere near it, who's making that run? Who's making those runs in the striker role? Right? Are you going to have a striker like Gyökeres who is dedicated for it, or are you going to have someone like a Havertz who's just come back? And unfortunately, again, he's gone with Havertz. You think, right? You're a Premier League manager, and you've just made the wrong choice on many, many occasions in this match, by the way. And again, not even in hindsight, right? That's not even after the fact. That's whilst watching this happening in front of my eyes, because you could see exactly where City were dominant, and that midfield just didn't work. Zubimendi was not on his best game today, mate, and that affected us drastically. But again, the fact that there was no Eze, he couldn't make the move of Rice moving to the Zubimendi role and then Eze in that role and so on. So again, I understand he was sort of hamstrung in a way, but we have enough players to bring on. Like you said on the message, bring on Dauman, right? Bring on Dauman. Put Madueke on the left-hand side if you don't want to put Martinelli on. Leave Saka on in the Odegaard role, in the number 10 role, and then put Max Dauman on the right, because he is fearless, and that's what we needed. We needed fearless, and I think he would have been excellent against Nico O'Reilly, by the way, on the right-hand side if Max Dauman was playing. But again, it's stuff that we've discussed, and the changes, the substitutions have been a major talking point in Arteta's reign at Arsenal, like massively, right? Either they're going to be good 1 week, but then they're going to be absolutely terrible for the next 17 weeks, and you think, right, there must be something. But how are you getting this wrong? Like, who are you listening to, or are you not listening to anyone when they're telling you maybe you shouldn't start Nkapie in this match because it's a high pressure game, first in the league, it's a final against City, they're going to come at us. Play Calafiori. That's your safer bet in a way, especially because of like you said, the experience in the league. But it was just, like I said, second half started, no changes, but then what makes it even freaking worse was the fact that our keeper decided to play No Man's Land. And that's a new game for keepers, by the way. That's what it's officially called. And
Are you referring to the Doku incident?
I am referring to the Doku incident, the one that gave him a freaking yellow card. And why? Why did he need to do that, by the way? Like, what did he need to do that? I don't think he did, right? And the fact that he got a yellow card and what followed, it just made things 100 million times worse. And the fact that Sky Sports, they were showing Raya at every opportunity was just hilarious to see. But yeah, after that incident in the 51st minute, it just went to shit after that. Do you know what I mean? Like 9 minutes later, 10 minutes later, Nico O'Reilly scores. And how did he get that goal, Stevie? Can you just tell the listeners how he got that goal, please?
Well, I don't have a go at Saka again, but I just have a feeling that potentially he could have done better. But where was Benny Blanco? It was just a calamity of errors, really, from obviously the keeper. Butterfingers, to say the least. I think the yellow card incident probably made him a bit nervous, and then from then on it was like, what happened next was just something that you just don't want to ever see again. But mistakes happen, and yes, it was a really, really poor mistake from a top international kind of keeper. Well, I was going to say we use that a bit loosely there. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, look, you're saying Benny Blanco, but didn't the ball come in from the right-hand side, right? It did, but where was Blanco? Was at right back? No, it came in from the other side, didn't it?
Did it?
It was I was pretty sure. Was it a right-wing chip?
Hold on, here we go. So the ball comes in from the right-hand side. Benny Blanco, it was Zubimendi actually who got absolutely owned by Nico O'Reilly, by the way. If you watch that back.
Bernardo Saka was the second one, wasn't he? Was Saka the second one? Where was Saka?
Yeah, so that must have been the second. Well, Saka was just in the middle of the pitch, middle of of our box, so 18-yard box.
The second one, Saka, not tracking.
So Silva to Cherki. Cherki gets a cross in. Kepa makes a mistake, and then Zubimendi gets owned by Nico O'Reilly, who runs in front of him. It was a slight
foul, but probably not strong enough.
Not strong enough.
Because he's twice the size of him, isn't he?
Yeah, but still, it's just not good enough, is it really? So, and then obviously the first goal, without a shadow of a doubt, there's only one person to blame there, right? There's only one person. It was definitely Kepa the keeper, but at the same time, because of how poor the rest of the team was, he kind of got away with it.
Absolutely,
because of the second goal, and it was pretty much copy paste without the what's it called, without the ball going through the hands.
Slippery fingers.
Yeah, slippery fingers. Yeah, butterfingers. So Doku gets it in. He gets it to the right hand side. Trossard goes out there to chase him, and then Rice goes out there to chase him. He's just left by himself. Saka.
No man's land.
So O'Reilly runs in front of Saka, but before even that cross comes in, what is it, Cherky?
Saka's just ball watching, then puts his head in his hands if say, oh, shit, but you're supposed to be going with your man, but where was Benny Blanco? Where was the defence?
Terrible. That was, I mean, the fact that Cherky was afforded that much space that close to our 6-yard box. Yeah, it was a crime. It really was. And as we can say, the defenders have been great and all that stuff, but then when they don't perform in the final, or they let something like that happen in the final, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Like, you know, again, they're not going to get, at the end of the season, if they don't win the Premier League, they're not going to get, oh, well, you know, these are medal for being a good defender. Well, all right, great, but you didn't win. Like, you didn't win with the team. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, man. I'm just really, really fucking pissed off.
I know what you mean. I know
I'm
exactly
really
what you mean.
pissed off.
You know, like you say, you could say, oh, Arsenal had a great 35 games.
Yeah.
And the defenders were brilliant, but they didn't win anything.
Yeah. And
it was a shit.
Yeah. Absolutely no.
I understand
cares,
exactly what you mean, mate. And this is the thing that is going to come back and plague us till mathematically impossibilities if we until we win it, kind of thing. If we do win it, because ultimately, to me, the Premiership is what I want. I know people say, "Oh, the Champions League," and we'd always like to have the first trophy. But ultimately, to me, the Premiership. Whether that's in the players' back of their minds, I don't know. But yeah,
I know, mate. I know. But like, again, we're going into a cup final. If they didn't want to win this final, then don't fucking go into the final, right?
But why play Kepa the Keeper? If you don't want to win it, you play your best 11 regardless. You say to Kepa, look, I appreciate everything you've done, but we want to win this. So it's the loyalty, it's the lack of the winning mentality, or is it the fact is that he is prioritising? Like you say, look, this is not an important one. It is nice to win it, but we're not going to lose any sleep over it.
But I really hope that's not the way he looks at it, because where do you draw the line? Do you know what I'm saying? Then next is going to be, well, the FA Cup doesn't really matter, so we're just going to neglect that. Oh, well, the Premier League actually doesn't really matter that much in comparison to the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? I know, obviously, look, I know that's a bit far-fetched because those are the Premier trophies, but I'm just saying, like, you're in a final now, right? I understand why he played Kepa, but on the other hand, I was the first guy to say, right, he probably should be playing Raya in the final.
Oh yeah, I remember 100%.
Do you know? And this is again, like you said, it seems the loyalty thing, which is great, fantastic, friendly.
It's the same with the captaincy.
Exactly, friendly, great, loyal, and all that stuff. But what the hell, man? Like, where's the trophy at? Like, where's the trophies at? Like, you know, and again, all of that stuff affects the players, because they're looking at the manager, they're going, do we really need this guy to come on right now when we could have used Martinelli, or we could have used so-and-so, or whatever it is, right? Whatever the match is. And sometimes you got to, you know, this is why players, I'm guessing, sometimes they lose confidence in managers. I mean, prime example, look at freaking Spurs and Igor Tudor, right? Like, that guy's on the verge of
only bonus of the weekend.
That was brilliant. And Liverpool losing as well. That was that was a great bonus as well. But again, I couldn't celebrate those because I knew this match was going to happen, right? And the worst thing that can happen is karma coming back and biting you in the ass. All those people, you go, Liverpool fucking this, or Tottenham fucking this, or blah, blah, blah. And then on Sunday, they all swarm you at the same time. So I played today very safe, and you know what I mean, I didn't talk about the match, I didn't see any of the, any of the build-up or anything like that, none of the social medias. I was like, right, I'm going to enjoy the time with my son. And to be honest, I'm glad that I did, because at the end it was wasted. But as soon as the second goal went in, my son had just woken up from his little nap. So I was like, I have no interest in this match now, right? Like, I'm done with this match now. So I just played with him, made him laugh, made him smile, and I was like, right, that'll do me.
You laugh as well with him, and it's great.
And that made me laugh at the end of the night. So yeah, look, so obviously that's the first goal. Second goal, like you said, there was a lot of people to blame there for the Cherky space, and the fact that Nico O'Reilly just fucking walking past our defenders or our players like they don't exist. But yeah. Did you watch any of the trophy lifting?
No.
No, No. Like I said, I turned it off as soon as I could. I was like, all right, good, we're done now, so bye-bye. But yeah, and I honestly stopped writing any notes after the 54th minute, after the first goal went in. I was like, right, there's no point, because I can see where this is going. We have absolutely no fight, and the fact that they scored first, which meant if we wanted to go out and get a goal, that's going to leave us exposed, and that's the last thing we need. We did not need an embarrassing scoreline in a final, because, well, I don't need to go into it really, you know what I mean? And especially against City as well, especially against Pep. It's like, oh man, this guy's just been a freaking thorn on our side since forever, really. So
yeah.
But yeah, look, anything else that stood out to you? Anything else that you want to add for the full match, whether performance or anything that sort of caught your eye whilst watching it?
No, like I say, I want to talk about the players that were really, really poor today, barring the whole team. So Havertz for me, Trossard, White, Saka, Kepa, they were the ones that stood out to have been really, really poor. Now, you've got to sort of stand by your team when they're doing well and stand by the team when they're not doing well. But I think this is like a recurring theme with a lot of them. I don't think White's head was in the right place. I don't think Trossard had particularly covered himself in glory, which I've been a bit of a critic of him for quite a while, to be fair. And this wasn't the right game for him. He's not strong enough. Like I say, when he's facing our goal, he's got his back to their goal. I think he is terrible, really, really bad at holding the ball up, and nothing stuck to him for him today. Havertz really poor as well. Hardly got a touch in the game, barring his sort of 6th, 7th minute chance. Other than that, he was fucking wasteful. Piss poor with shite. Kepa, say no more for the goal. Saka again. When is Arteta going to realise this? Is this Saka's kind of... It won't be his final year because he's just signed a new contract. So it looks like we're stuck with Saka till he retires, basically, which is fucking shite, unless another manager comes in and sells him, because Saka, to me, is not getting any better. He's plateaued, like you say, and, the left wing, Martinelli, it's a massive overhaul. Even in the sum, after spending that much money, he still needs, a massive overhaul. But other than Saliba and Gabriel and possibly Rice, I think the rest of the team were fucking awful, mate.
They were, mate. They really were. And I think you've just sort of hit the nail on the head there. And for me, Havertz was probably the worst on the pitch. I know Kepa made a mistake, but I just feel like Havertz and the position that he plays and the importance that we put into that position, he was probably the worst for me. I really, really don't have much more to add to this that we haven't already said. And if people want to know, then go listen to like previous episodes where the title is, sad and depressing, because you'll know the points that we're trying to make here as well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's, for me, like I said, just to sum it up from the top of the episode, for me, it was, yes, the scoreline hurts, but the fact that we didn't even show up in that second half, that was fucking criminal. If he didn't want to win this match, right, come out in the second half and put 5 of your youngest players on, right, and then we all understand what's going on, right? None of us will be depressed. We'll be like, oh, okay, fair enough, shit. We understand what's happening now. But to put your best team or your supposed best team on paper against this Man City side in a final, in a first final in 6 years, by the way. So again, it's not even like we're used to this. This is the first final in 6 years, and we didn't even show up for it. It's like winning an Oscar and then not actually going. Do you know what I mean? That's literally what it feels like. It's like, oh, great, I've been nominated and you are going to win, but I'm not going to show up. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Let me think what I was going to say. So you're talking about the first final in 6 years. And yeah, I can't think what I was going to say now. That's gone back to me. But go on, carry on.
No, that's me done on that, mate. To be honest, we were just talking. About
what you said again. I was just distracted. Sorry.
We were just talking about repeating ourselves on podcasts and whatnot. People go listen to it, but for me, like I said, it was just the fact that we didn't even show up, and that was my point basically.
Sorry. Yeah. I do remember what I was going to say now. Now, to me and to everyone that's listened over the last few months, these performances, if you remember, obviously the Everton game, if you remember the Brighton game,
yep,
and if you remember probably the Chelsea game, to a degree when they went down to 10 men. Our performances have been like this for a long, long time, but we've managed to find a way, whether it's been at home or whether we've just been lucky. We've been playing piss fucking poor, and we've been getting slated for it in the press everywhere, that saying that we're boring arsehole, it's not a great watch. And you know, this kind of performance and this result, it's been coming all season. Now, if we can manage to somehow turn it around, which obviously against Southampton is the first opportunity to do it, then, you know, all might be forgotten. But this result has been coming, and we've been saying it, the results, we've been saying the same thing every time we've been coming on the pod, that what a really bad performance, what, you know, no one's turned up. We've had one or two decent players. But you must admit, mate, this performance has been coming. We're playing like this fucking for a long time. We had one decent game against Villa, against Leeds, but the rest has been fucking awful. But even dull as dishwater in it.
I would say even the matches that we played against Liverpool, both matches, the match we played against City at home, that was very negative. Chelsea, like you said, again, very, very negative. And this is not a surprise what we saw tonight, right? This is absolutely not a surprise. And we were just kind of hoping that because of the event and the occasion and all that stuff, we're kind of hoping that we're not going to fall back into that and like sort of default.
We played to type, didn't we? We just played to type. Exactly how we expected to play like that. Yeah. City played how they expect to play, where they go for it, and we played exactly how we were supposed to play, where we sit back and play negative and boring shite. You know, fuck that, mate. Honestly, it's been coming this.
Look, and I obviously I do understand what we tried to do this match was to go out first 15, 20, 25 minutes to get a goal, and you know, trying to get them to come out to us, because again, once we start looking at the one-on-ones and player for player, kind of don't really come out on top in the important area. Do you know what I'm saying? And did I send you this? I sent you this little screenshot, didn't I? Did I send you a screenshot earlier? So I sent you a screenshot of both our teams combined, right? And and how Martinelli gets in over Doku and how Saka gets in over Semenyo is insane, by the way. Insanity. Unreal. How does Eze get in above Turkey? Can you explain that to me, please? Rice is the only one Rice and now with two centre backs.
Gabriel obviously do, and Timber probably does.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, mate, it's
Zubimendi over Rodri. I mean, I know we don't really care much for Rodri, but come on now, let's just be real. And in terms of midfield, Rice is probably the only one of our midfielders that gets into that City side. But to have Martinelli and Saka flanking Haaland, it's like, come on,
unreal. I know.
You might as well just
wrote that?
You might as well just take Haaland. You might as well take Haaland out and put Gyökeres in, and do you know what I mean? Make it a full Arsenal team for fuck's sake. Or Jesus, whatever. But yeah, that was I like, because it fit in with what you were saying there as well, and. Yeah, they are a scary team, even on paper, even when you play them, you know, actually live, and they proved that today. And I feel like they put a bit of fear into us. And I don't know what Pep said to their team, to his team at halftime, but it worked. Maybe he said something like, "Lads, it's Arsenal. Come on, they're gonna bottle it."
Yeah. These are shite. The negative. Yeah, we put a bit of pressure on them.
That's it. Well, we did. Like a cheap suit we folded today. But yeah, Stevie, look, anything else that you want to add, mate? Anything that you want to get off your conscience or your chest?
The only other thing I think that I don't really want to agree with him, but unfortunately Gary Neville was spot on again when he was on about how we were inviting it with the fact that Kepa was holding on the ball, rolling it over his feet, and
that
was just drawing on. It wasn't it?
That restart. Oh my God, what was he doing again? Fuck.
Yeah, but this is what happens every game, and this is why we're inviting pressure on, even in the Premiership games. We sometimes get away with it, obviously, in the Champions League, but in the Premiership, we seem to bring on the players at other teams, and it's inviting pressure. And against Man City and Liverpool and even Chelsea to some degree, you can't do that because they'll punish you. And it was just, you could sense it. And I think Gary Neville mentioned the fact that you could sense it was coming in. I could sense it. I don't know about you, but I think the majority of people could as well. And it was just like, well, here we go. We're going to lose this because of what's happening. And look what happened.
Honestly, after Kepa got that yellow card, that's where I was like, right, this is it, we're done for here, because the pressure was mounting up. He did that stupid shit, and then, like I said, minutes later, O'Reilly scores because of a Kepa mistake. So again,
inviting pressure, weren't we?
absolutely, and again, this is not a surprise tactic. This is not something new, right? We've seen this. We've lived through this. This is why we hate our team sometimes, because it's like, just fucking get up and go, you fuck, right? That's literally what you want. What you want to tell them, right? You want to just pick up the phone to our tenant, but like, just get up and go, you fuck. You've got enough players to actually do the job for you, but yeah, he didn't. It
just kept coming back, didn't it? Every time we clear it, it kept coming back. It was like wave after wave, wasn't it? It's a bit like when we were at the Etihad a couple of seasons ago when we went down to 10 man. It was just wave after wave, and you just thought eventually we was going to like capitulate.
Was that
fucking did, man?
Was that when Xhaka fucking super kicked Bernardo in the chest?
No, it was Trossard, wasn't it?
Was it Trossard? Oh yeah, sorry, that was the one when he kicked the ball, wasn't it? Was it the one he kicked the ball? Yeah, that was awful. Yeah. Fair enough, man. Look, definitely don't want to agree with Gary Neville, but it is what it is. And just before we leave, then, where do you see us going forward? Like realistically,
again,
not pessimistic.
Look, I'm not pessimistic. I'm always half. I talk to a lot of people about it, and people say, "Oh, it's your title, it's this, that, and the other." And I'll reiterate what I said to those, that it doesn't mean it's not the end of the world losing the Carabao Cup final. It's not the most important. I know what you're saying, and I know it's all about momentum. It's all about the psychology. But the only saving grace is the fact is that we're still in 3 competitions and we don't play in the league for like another 3 weeks or something, and we've got international break. And it's the Southampton game to me, as well. You know that we forget about this tonight. We go home. You know, the players go home. They forget about it. They've spent time with their family. Then they get in England or wherever they are around the world, and you know it is depressing, and it can be a negative effect going forward. It can have that, but surely they can't just capitulate and bottle the whole lot from here. It's just inconceivable, in my opinion. And if we do, I'm done. But
whoa! That's a bold statement, Stevie. Wow. I mean, inconceivable to lose the rest of the 3 trophies.
Yeah, I'll do this. If anyone can hear, I'll be doing this to Arsenal's season ticket.
Oh, that's a good rip, by the way. That's a good rip. I'm going to use that as a sound effect. I like that. Wow, inconceivable to lose all 3. Dude, come on, man. I think it's inconceivable to even think about winning 3 of them after that bullshit performance. But look, of course, I joke, but you are absolutely right. It's all about the bounce back. And by the way, I'm not sad because we didn't lift the EFL Cup trophy, right? That's not what I'm sad about. What I'm sad about is just, again, the fact that we just never showed up for our first final in 6 years, and it's something that would have boosted all of these players. It would have been a first domestic for Declan Rice, for most of our players, really. It would have been a first domestic, right? It would have been just excellent, you know, for the new additions that we had this season, the Timbers that we've had for a few seasons now. You know, this is what it was for. It was for them just to be like, right, oh, okay, so we can win stuff here, right? Because, you know, them joining Arsenal, I'm sure they've heard the stories of like, well, you're going to go to Arsenal, you're not going to win anything, so, right? And we laugh about it because there's nothing else that we can do, right? It is the truth. Truth is the truth. So it's just that mentality shift that I wanted to happen tonight. Right? That's what I was hoping for, right? Do you know what? If we'd won the match, right, just fucking give City the trophy, like the physical trophy to lift it, just let them carry on. But we won it, right? That's what I would have walked away with. Not even, first trophy of the season. I'm not going to brag about it to anyone. Like, you know, I'm not going to send my mates text and be like, fucking, we're Carabao Cup winners. No one's going to say that, because we are the first people to make fun of teams that act like that. So, and by the way, speaking of embarrassing teams, Spurs today, when they actually had a full on freaking what's it called, the celebration or something. Yeah, no. Did you not see the team bus? Like the fans were crowding the streets and basically welcoming the team bus to the stadium.
No, I didn't see it. Yeah. It was 10 minutes in when I started watching it.
Because obviously they realized that this is a fucking relegation battle now, right? So they needed the fans, and the commentators were like, oh well, if the club doesn't care, if the board doesn't care about the club, but the fans, you know, they're lifting the club up and all this stuff, and then those same fans exited early. So did the club do them a favor? Like, you know, we'll let you get out of the train early. So But it was, that's
moment of the week, wasn't it? This is the moment of the week for all you Gaylords.
That was definitely moment of the week, by the way. Them getting slapped 3-0 at home. It was so good.
God,
it was so good. Yeah. Cool. I'll tell you what then. If there's nothing else you want to add, mate, we will leave it there.
I just want to add one more thing.
Please. Two more things. Absolutely.
We're just ticking over nearly to the hour mark. Realistically, you asked me going forward, realistically, I think even if we got past Southampton, realistically, it's Liverpool or City going to knock each other out, right? So if one of those two are in the final, I don't think even if we got the final, we would win the FA Cup. Personally, I honestly don't think that our players' mindset is set up to win a one-off competition. Champions League might be slightly different. If we'd got anyone else other than, I mean, you can guarantee we could get the final and play Liverpool, we'd get beat. But I think if we can play any other team, barring Liverpool in the final, because they're the only ones that we could meet in English, because everyone else, we're on the Barcelona, Atletico, Sporting Lisbon side. Realistically, our only chance this year of silverware is the Premiership. And I only say that because we're not playing at Man City on the last day of the season to see if we're going to win it. We could potentially have it won by 3 or 4 games towards the end of the season. That's my only not concern, but I think that's our only chance. That of the Champions League is our only chance of silver this season. The FA Cup, fuck it, we don't know a chance because we just do what we did today.
I mean, yeah. As much as I'd love to disagree with you, maybe you're right. Maybe these players aren't prepared for a one-off competition. Maybe Arteta's not prepared for a one-off competition, and maybe that's why we have been second in the league. We just needed the extra players to get us to first. You know, that's the way that he sets up. And luckily for us, we've been doing so well in the Champions League because it is a league based now, right? Especially the first rounds. So yeah, that could be it really, like the sort of the reason. But I will say this: now in the Champions League, it's all knockout matches. Right?
It's 2 legs though, which is you get a second chance. Whereas in the domestic cups, it's 1 chance only, and that's where we're coming up short, and that's Arteta's fault personally, picking the wrong players, etc., and tactics and stuff. So I think Champions League, Premiership, you've got another chance. You've always got another chance.
Unless it's the final, right? Then you've got
unless it's the last game of the season and it's 11 on points.
True. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, of course, and I hope to God we get the Premier League wrapped up as soon as possible, and by the time we get to the Etihad, we could just literally be maybe a win or 2 away from actually wrapping it up. But yeah. I'm confident about the league. I'll be honest. I am confident about the league. The other 2 competitions, I just think all I think about in the Champions League is like if we face Barcelona.
No, I'm not bothered about them.
I am because
it's Bayern Munich. I'm bothered about them. PSG.
PSG, I'm not too worried about, but Bayern, I can understand that. But Barcelona, I'm worried because their attack is just.
It's like City's in a way, isn't it?
It is. Terrifying, it really is. And if they catch us on a game like this, like we played against City, we're going to get demolished 7-0, 5-0, whatever it is. And that's what I don't want. I don't want us to do so well and get praised in the Champions League, for example, and then get to a semi-final and get absolutely hammered across 2 legs by a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich, you know. And that's what's in the forefront of my mind. So. Cool. Right. In that case, then we will leave it there, mate, and we will be back at some point. Next week, this week, I'm free now.
Game, so it's it's English shite.
So if you want to, if there's,
we could do some kind of different pod or something. Yeah,
we could do something.
We'll discuss something. Yeah,
I think we do have Formula One. Oh no, that's next week.
That's Bahrain, hasn't it?
No, it's Japan next one. So I think it's
China, 27th. No, just been China.
27th. So is that? Yeah, that's this weekend, isn't it? Yeah, that's this weekend coming. So we do have Japanese Grand Prix. There you go.
All right, we'll do a bit on the F1, and we'll maybe discuss other bits and bobs if you want.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's going to be injury news. There's going to be other Arsenal news that we can talk about, or other stuff that we'll discuss throughout the week.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, stay alert. Stevie, send us out. Nah, just don't worry, we'll just put the music in. It's too depressing. It's too depressing.
Just depressed, mate. That's how I'm flat. Yeah. I'm not even going to say au revoir or wee wee or even CC. You know, but there you
just
go.
Arrivederci. All right, cool.
Yes. Right. See you later, mate.
Yeah, we're going to go. Bye bye.